Hey guys, hit the like button and please subscribe to the best in the business you dig, Ryan Shred TV. So let's get into this review. This review is Batman Year One, probably one of my favorite Batman story arcs or runs. It was written by Frank Miller, illustrated by David. I can't say his last name. Masosili. I think this. Sorry if I can't pronounce his name. You could, Anyway, the story recounts basically Batman's first year as a crime fighter, as well as exploring the life of a recently transferred Gotham police detective, James Gordon. Eventually, basically, the story is, even though they say it's a Gordon Bruce Wayne thing, but it's really more of a Gordon story than a Batman's kind of more of a second character, even though there's they cross paths two times as Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon. One and they almost hit each other in a car, and one was with Bruce on the bike motorcycle, and he passes up Gordon because Gordon was called to the police station, even though it was a setup. So basically, the mob can go get his, Barbara and his new child, the son. But man, overall, man, this whole story, this whole comic book, okay. So basically, just to give you a little backstory, basically, this is like the second run for Frank Miller for Batman. The first one was The Dark Knight Returns. Essentially, with that story, you're talking about pretty much the end of his career as Batman, or he's returning as Batman. There's forth the Batman Returns or Dark Knight Returns, but in this illustration for the second time, written by Frank Miller, he went from talking about in the future. Now we're talking about the beginning of Batman. No, we don't. In the story, we don't get into the whole Ra's al Ghul thing. No, it's just basically Batman in Gotham. In the story, you deal with Batman basically. Bruce kind of really coming into the Batman. Like the first thing you see Bruce Wayne do, he goes to Gotham and he picks a fight with one of the pimps from. They literally in the story had a little girl as a prostitute, and basically he's about to throw hands with a mob boss, but it doesn't end well for the mob boss. And then you get Selena Cowl getting involved because she's with the Narrows, if you will, and so she has to step up and protect the people below, and and there's that little squabble. They never really have a Bruce and Batman and Catwoman never really have a and this is also a story for Catwoman. Catwoman kind of we get that the first time she's wearing the suit, she basically takes all her money that she has, and I think her name is Holly, and basically she spends all her money to get a Catwoman suit so she can go get more money. Steal more money, and but anyway, basically with the story, the main character of the story is really Jim Gordon. Him going into the GCPD and dealing with so many corruption and the government, not the government, but GCPD, and how everything kind of just it really just it went crazy with it. He's dealing with Flash and Commissioner Loeb, and they're corrupt all together, and whole police force. And then he runs into Sarah and that whole affair, and then he gets his child. It's a great story. And on the other side of the token, you get Bruce Wayne trying to finally go out into Gotham and trying to help and trying to fix Gotham City. And he comes to a realization, and this great part in the comic where he's sitting alone in, I guess, his library, and in the dark, and he's just sitting in the chair, and he's just looking at a statue. And I can't remember the actual name of the statue, but he's just looking at it, and he's just going through his head about how can I bring fear to the criminals, to the corrupt, how can I make a difference? How can I be the fear that needs to be in Gotham? And then you get the whole bat flying through the window, and the thing I liked about they did in the movie they didn't do in the comics is when in the movie, when the bat comes in the glass, you see the reflection of the bat. In the comic, you don't get that, but it's both of them are just as artful and meaningful, and just so much to it, and it really establishes the character of Bruce and Batman as two separate entities, but they're both on the same page. And and you kind of get the idea that Bruce Wayne is the mask and Batman is the real person of Bruce Wayne. That's the real Bruce Wayne. He still makes mistakes. Like, it gets to this point where, Batman saves Sarah from getting hit by, he saves an old woman, an old lady just crossing the street, about to get hit by a van, and, he rescues the old woman, but Sarah and Gordon, they thinking he's doing something evil, trying to hurt her or something like that. Even though at the moment they don't realize it, but basically they kind of, the whole GCPD basically corner him in the building that's basically about to collapse because it's been abandoned for so many years, and you get the whole squad. I think his name was Brendan. I think in the movie his name is Brandon. They changed the name in the movie, but his actual name is Brendan. But that whole sequence with Batman, have to give up his bat belt because it's pretty much destroyed, and he doesn't have a lot of gadgets as is anyway. Like, if this was like Batman year 2 or even more, he would have gotten out of that situation like a snap of the fingers. Like, he doesn't have a Batmobile. It essentially just, he's going GTA sometimes on GTA style, stealing a bicycle at the end, trying to save Jim Gordon's son from the mob. But the whole sequence, and I love it. Like, when the SWAT team and all of them, they're literally cracking down on Batman, and Batman is no way out, and they're shooting him down when he's behind the pillar, and basically Batman legs the pillar, smashing it, and then you get the whole, you get the thing like they did in the Batman Begins. I love how they did that. They brought that into the movie, but he has the the actual bat signal, the bat call, if you will, bringing all the bats from his cave to the actual building, and he uses that to escape, and it's just everything about it just screams Batman. And and to think this is Frank Miller writing all this is just even, Frank Miller is probably one of my greatest storytellers. My favorite Marvel comic book ever is Daredevil, Born Again. And with the DC, I think Dark Knight Returns is probably one of my favorite, but there's other stories as well. But anyway, the point is, overall, the story, and it ends on a kind of cliffhanger. If you actually want to read the in order of the comics, after Batman year 1, then you go into the Man Who Laughs. Basically, you get the introduction of Joker. It ties into year 1, and then you go into Long Halloween. You get that whole premise, and we'll get to that review soon enough. But man, overall, this is just a amazingly story told, just from the art, from the storytelling, everything, every panel. And there's some parts in this that it kind of dates back a little bit. Like, you can tell the time of it, when racism was kind of okay to happen. It's not okay now. I mean, it's never okay, but there was little political issues thrown in there, and that it's not in your face, but it's made aware that that's something that Gotham deals with too. And yeah, but overall, man, this whole comic book, man, is just, it really just, I really hope with the new Batman movie, they kind of take some keynotes from it. In the movie, and I don't know. Year One is just a great, and if you have read the book, the comic book, but like, I think it's in 4 issues. I believe I think it's titled like the 4 issues. Let me look it up. I think it's like chapter 1, who I am, how I come to be, and then chapter 2 is War Declared, and chapter 3 is Black Dawn, and then chapter 4 is Friend in Need. It's a Batman issue 404, 405, and 406, and 407. It came out in 87 from February to May. But, it's just this dude, it's just, as much as they kind of make it as this is a Batman story, it's much more of a Jim Gordon or James Gordon story. And it's just, I love it very much. It's just one of those stories. If you're a Batman fan, if you want to get into comics, this is probably where you want to go. I know there's the new 52, and you can get into that after you want to. If you really want to get the taste of Batman, just start with Year One and go forward. I'll make a list. I'll actually put a list in the description if I can. But if I cannot, I'll make a video about it. But start with Year One, and then you can, after you get the whole in order. Read, then you can go into New 52 if you want. But anyway, overall, this is a great, great story told, and Frank Miller and David do a great job of this. And I would give it a rating of a 9 out of 10. It's very high on my list of comic books. And if you don't want to get into Batman, if you just want to read a great comic book story, Batman Year One is your go-to. That and Dark Knight Returns. But yeah, that's just my review on it, my rating. And I really love this. I truly recommend it. You can get it anywhere, like on Amazon, or just download there's an app, the DC Universe app, and it's like Marvel Unlimited. You can read all the comics. They got it all there. So it's like $7.99 a month. But either way, it's a great story. I truly recommend it. If you want to get into Batman comics, I think that's your starting point. But then if you want to read a great comic book story, Year One's your go-to as well. So yeah, so that's my take on Batman Year One. And thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the best in the business you dig, Ryan Shred TV, and I'll see y'all soon. Well, talk to y'all soon. But I'm sorry. So subscribe to Ryan Shred TV, please. Thank you. And love, peace, and positivity, and prosper. I'm doing the sign of Star Trek. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. Adios.